All right, so I got 14 minutes of talking here. If you don't want to listen to me talk, as you see some of the scenes of what I filmed as we went, there's a whole lot more. I just didn't even bother to put it up. But it's okay. Anyway, so Harvest 21 is done. That's the title of the video, and that is just the fact of the matter. We finished up yesterday. The corn is in the bin. The bin is chock full to the roof, to the top of the roof. It's full. There's no more room in there. I do have a truckload to go to the mill tomorrow. I got some work to do to Lewis's truck today for his load of hay, but tomorrow I have to take that load of corn in the morning, and then I'll be done hauling corn for, I don't know, a little while. I'm going to say I'm going to probably wait until after the first of the year to haul in any more. The price is going to jump between now and then anyway. Harvest prices are traditionally down in the last 15 years anyway, and then they slowly creep back up again if you look at it, over the years. Now, it all depends on what China does or whoever else in the world does that's going to be buying corn. But I'm pretty happy with the harvest. No, it did not. I did not maintain 300 bushels to the acre. I haven't gotten a bushel count yet for the average, and because I did a double of what I did last year, I had really, really good corn up until the second to last farm. I had fall panicum, which I showed in one of the other videos, and actually probably going to be a bit of it in this video. But that fall panicum, that just robbed the yield. It took it from the 230 bushels that we were, pretty comfortable at running, 220, 230 bushels, and it knocked it down to 130. It took 100 bushels right off the top. And there was a vast amount of that fall panicum. Now, those are the prices you pay when you go to do off-farm work, when you're not paying attention to your farming operation, and you're worrying about baling straw for somebody else, and you get into stuff like that, like, you big dummy, you left the crop and it cost you nowhere near as much as what it it didn't cost me anywhere as near as much as it would have cost for the if I hadn't done the straw job. But still, it's kind of the end of the year, when you're finishing up everything that you're trying to finish up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry about your luck, you can't, this is the problems you're having. So it cost us, but whatever, is what it is. I can't be in two places at once, obviously, and it is the way it goes. And if I had a perfect crop across the board, well, that would just put a big head on my shoulders, and I would think that I could do that every single year of my life, which is not true. We did have our challenges this year. This farm that you're seeing right now, this farm was probably the best one for no downed corn. There's a couple of acres in there that had, where I had crossed rows. And I know the reason why I had downed corn. Some is the variety, a lot is the year, and the other little bit is my mistakes that I made when I planted it. Okay, so when you read the bag of seed corn, okay, and it says, hey, this here could go to 42,000 plant population. Well, our ground it was a risk to do it, to do that high population. I did 37,700, and I think I was right around 37,500. I did a few population checks, and I did a few population checks on different farms, and they were in that 37.5, 37.7, 37.4. If kernel didn't come up, or whether it was a skip or a double, you don't count the doubles and you don't count skips because they're just not there and they're not viable. You actually should remove 2 for every double you get. Well, as you know, my corn planter is like 46 years old. It's almost as old as I am. And not that makes any difference, but there's no monitors, there's no row shutoffs on it. It's just an old ass combine or an old ass corn planter that nobody's interested in watching go across the field. And it's funny that I've realized this. Like this old combine that you're seeing run, we had two hiccups, literally just two hiccups. We had my header. I had a problem with slip clutch on the header. I welded that solid. Doesn't need to slip it. There's multiple protections that the header has. So I welded that slip clutch solid. I don't care. If it breaks, so I just go and get parts if I can get them, or I weld it back together again. The other was that discharge beater, and I don't think there was anything. Oh, the feeder house. So I had three things, nothing major. The major thing was that discharge beater, and that happened last week. And New Holland is not very good about stocking parts for older machines anymore. That Fiat Agri Group or CNI or CNH or whatever you want to call them. Fiat is who owns this company now, and they're dropping the ball in my opinion. I mean, I hear a lot of stories about newer machines that are having problems getting parts for. And I did just see that Cole the Corn Star, now it could be bullshit, I don't know. You can't trust the titles on Cole the Corn Star's videos because every video he's got some kind of a disaster. Well, watching his videos, I don't see that he's got any disasters that aren't easily overcome. Maybe I'm me and I just don't see a major problem with what they're having problems with. And I don't call the dealer unless it's really, really, really terribly bad but whatever. That's neither here nor there. So I had troubles getting the parts for this combine because New Holland just isn't stocking them. They're not there. Whether they're on a slow boat from China that's stuck off the East Coast or the West Coast or South America, southern coast of the Gulf, I don't know. It all depends on. Oh yeah, watch me knock over Rose. Anyway, you just don't know why they're not producing these parts. I know I have the solution to supply chain problems, and that is to make them here in the United States. If you can make them in another country and ship them here and save 3 cents, but have no parts when things go awry, you could make them here and then people would be happy. And I'm sure there's a lot of parts made here. It's just that, I don't know, maybe these older machines, they ship them out to aftermarket companies to produce. I have no idea. But I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Kiters, Kiters in Elizabethville, Pennsylvania, and get these parts. Now, going to Kiters is an experience. It really is. If you're in an off season, it's not really that big of an experience. It's just like, hey, how you doing? Everything's good, and you can just walk around and see what you want, and they'll bring your toolbox, and you can take the parts off that you need for your old combine if they have it there. They are not the type of company that brings a combine in, strips it down, inventories the parts, throws away the junk, and moves on with their day. They are the type that bring these combines in, lay them up in a row, and then when you need something, they go out with a torch and tear it apart with a torch. And generally that involves a sledgehammer, broken pulleys, bent shafts, torched out combines, fires, and things like that. So if you're ever interested in having a good time going to a boneyard, Kiters is for you. I can complain about it, but I always have a good time. There's always a story to tell when you come back from Kiters, and anybody that has gone to Kiters knows that is true. It's definitely an experience. But anyway, they get you going, and that's a plus. Now, Kiters does not ship anything. If you call them on the phone and say, hey, do you have this part? I need you to mail it to this. They'll say, no, we do have the part, but you're going to have to drive here. They don't care if you're 8 hours away, 4 hours away, or 10 minutes away. They're not going to box it up and ship it to you, which I find to be rather silly. They've got a huge inventory of older combines, and they're on the East Coast, and these combines are used in the outer fringes of the grain belt still today, these old combines, so when you're in the central part of, say, Illinois and Indiana and Iowa, Nebraska, and all these places where it's vast open spaces and everybody's running new equipment, Kiters is not going to be the place for you. You're not going to find. You're not even going to find the newer equipment. I think they're stuck in anything older than 2000 or somewhere's in there in the 2000s, which that's fine if that's how they want to run their business. But there are outer fringes of these high producing crop areas. New York is an example. There's good producing places in New York, and there's not so good producing places. In the not so good producing places, there's a lot of older combines. New Jersey's one of these places. There's only a few people in this state that can go out and buy new equipment on a crop like you're watching me harvest right now. The shipping of this crop is ridiculous. I have to drive 100 miles to get rid of this corn. Now, there is a place right up the road here, a few miles. It's called ISE, and Izzy's is a chicken producer, an egg producer. The problem is they don't pay for shit. You get paid, but you get raped in FM and light test weight. It's just, trust me, it's not a good place to deliver to. We have Purdue, which is only 30 miles away, and but they're not going to pay you top dollar because they just have to put it on a rail car and move it to, they put it on a rail car and then have to move it to an area where there is chickens, pork and beef. That's what they have to do. Or they put it on a barge and ship it out of here, but it has to go on a rail car first. So, we have those places, but when you're going to get literally 75, 80 cents a bushel more for the drive, the 100-mile, that's before the hauling charge is taken out. So, and it costs, I think, 45 cents a bushel to haul it. And when I had a company come in and haul it. And the problem with them coming in to haul it was that they would just dock the crap out of you. They really would. It would be FM charges all the time. Well, I took this into this feed mill, and I haven't seen an FM charge yet at all, which is bullshit anyway, because they're just grinding it for feed anyhow. And high-quality feed, they don't care. I've seen them take and clean stuff out and then run it through the feed. And actually, the most nutritious part of the damn corn is right there at the end. That little tip that breaks off when you run it through all that dust and dirt, not dust, but dirt or foreign matter. That's the most nutritious part of the kernel. So, what are they complaining about? But anyways, I took 20 some odd loads into that feed mill, and only twice was I over moisture. And I wish I hadn't been over moisture because it did hit me pretty hard, but no worse than Purdue or any of these other companies that I've delivered to over the years. And because I used to take the L8000. The L8000, I would put those boxes on and drive to Purdue or wherever I was going, put them into personal bins. And this is the fall panicum. So that fall panicum just destroyed the yield. Even though it was still coming in pretty good, it was 120 bushel corn, if that, where that fall panicum is. So that's something I have to personally work on in the next, in this upcoming year. So this is the last field that we did. This was in the last video, and I hope you've enjoyed this series. There's a whole bunch more footage of stuff, and I probably will never put it up on YouTube, but we're going to be moving on to something different, like cleanup and getting ready for next year and going back into hay. Thanks for watching.